All right. Happy Halloween, David. You ready?
Yes, Mike. Let us be the first to wish you a happy Halloween as well.
Thank you.
Sir.
Was he the first?
Melissa?
No, he wasn't.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Just 6-2. How do you assess where you are right now, especially given the injuries you dealt with to get to this point, and how does it set you up for what you want to do? So,
Yeah, I tell you, if you look over time, I mean, your medical report's always long, it seems, this week, and I think that really is a reflection of, you played 8 games. A lot of guys are nicked up, so it could not come at a better time for us. And so, I mean, it's, just waiting for the final report here from down below. But, it'll be good to get healthy. I mean, you could see, the defense, the number of plays that they played yesterday, and the stress that they were under, had some guys go down. So this will be a good week for us to recover.
Clarence Silver was talking about this. What do you know at this point about McGovern and some other guys?
Anthony Barr.
What's that?
Oh, Anthony Barr.
Yeah, Barr. He was helping me out.
Teamwork. Yeah.
Barr, and I know Curtis keep winning in and out.
Yeah, definitely. I think J.K. was pretty good so far. I just saw Jim briefly. I don't think Anthony's is going to be long term. I couldn't tell you if he's projected for Green Bay yet or not. Who's the other? Connor. I think he's going to be fine too. But this is what this week's for.
And some of the other guys that were held out of the game. How is Zeke, and what does he look like going forward?
Zeke's getting better, so we don't have a projection yet. So hopefully he has a really good week, and I think the Wednesday's practice, what's that, the 9th, November 9th will be a big day for us.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio. Damon got thrown into the deep end of the pool when Anthony went out. How did he look on film when Chicago?
Looked good. He had the highest mile per hour score, over 22 mile an hour. So I think that shows you his ability. But it was good for him. Actually, chance to visit with him this morning, and got in there on a couple special teams, felt good and so forth. And then all of a sudden they called his name, and it just was it clean? No, it wasn't clean, and he knows that. But we thought he did a lot of good things, and but it was really good for him to get that experience.
Mike Toddock with ESPN. When you look at the run defense from yesterday, what do you put a lot of it on your end of it, not just, hey, they're running team?
One of the things that, first thing we always talk about, is, you go through the grading, watch the tape, have the conversations amongst the staff, but, you look at the preparation. Did we do a great job, getting our guys ready? One of the things we probably thought we could do more of, we had C.J. Goodwin play some quarterback. Should have probably did a lot more of that. I think Justin Fields is in a different league as far as his ability to take to break angles, because we had angles on him a number of times, and he just clearly outran it. So that's the first thing that stood up, and I just think the third down. I think we had a combination of 20 third and fourth downs in the game, and I think was it nine of the runs, we were 7 losses. So we just, you look at those things, you look at specifically what they were doing, but their stress of their quarterback run game, started in New England, and then, well, like I said, we talked about this earlier in the week. We got the second version of it, and it was a challenge for us.
Mike Torrey, Epstein, Yahoo Sports. On the other side of the ball, y'all were 9 of 11 on third down after that had been a struggle for the offense earlier in the season. What was working yesterday, and how can you build on that?
I just thought our guys, we were in favorable down distances, so, our first and second down operation was obviously better, so that was the first part. Second thing is, it's just refreshing to see the players have success when they put extra time on, whatever the focus is. So, been spending a lot of extra time the last month, frankly, on third down, and the execution was clearly better. I thought just the time clocks and just the ability, the time clock and the pass protection, obviously the ball placement and all those things were much better.
And when you look at Dak and how he used his legs yesterday, where is that? It was a lot more with success. Where is that relative to what y'all think that ideal balance is?
Well, it's you got to extend plays in this league. When you talk about the fundamentals of professional football, big play, opportunity generation and production is critical. You can't win in this league without making big plays. You can't score points on offense going 10, 11, 12, 13, play drives, every time. So you need big plays, and, extended plays from the quarterback position is a big part of, of that. So, I mean, it was the coolest quarterback sneak I think I've ever been a part of. So, I mean, it was kind of, the way he came out of there. But, yeah, I thought Dak, played his best game of the year.
Mike, when you're at the same record through 8 games that you were at this stage last season, when we talked to DeMarcus today, he said, well, this feels a little different from the standpoint of we still remember what happened with San Francisco and how easily it can be taken away from you. Is that a message you've given to the team, or is that just something that they kind of reinforced over the offseason going into this year?
I mean, it was the first message, and it's a continuous message. Handling success is the biggest challenge in this business. I think it's the biggest challenge in life. So it's, it's up on the wall in a team meeting room for a reason. So, you got to find ways to win every week. But our job as coaches is to make sure we continue to grow the football team. So, and that's where self-evaluation is critical to that. And that's why we spend the time that we do on Mondays. So, I think our grading system, interaction with the players, obviously the bye week started today, but most of them still came upstairs to see their coaches. They've already watched the game. I think that tells you a lot about our football team. They all go home immediately and watch the game. So all those things is part of the culture that we've created here, but we still need to keep reinforcing the things that we do because when you get back from your bye week, now you get into practices get a little shorter because now you start really being smart as far as how much you do physically. So you got to continue to find ways to continue to educate, reinforce, and get more mental reps, in the mental part of it. Just continue with the emotional conditioning and the exercise you do there. So I mean that's a part of growing, into November. November is a huge month. I mean this is where things really start to shape up. We're going into the third quarter of the season. So I mean that's the way we operate.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Along those lines, is it tough to tell your staff take some time off, just considering what the next 2 months will mean to your team?
No. I tell you, it's we're all product of our experiences, and I'm no different. I've coached in the Midwest, I've coached in the South, in New Orleans and in Dallas, and I've coached out on the West Coast, which is very difficult. And what I'm talking about is, when you're crossing time zones, air travel, those types of things. But I don't, I think my year in San Francisco, I think 6 of the 8 games were across the Mississippi River. So, that was a huge challenge. I've never been through anything like that. But then I spent, obviously, a number of years in Green Bay where, most of your flights were 50 minutes. I mean, it factors. Our 3 division games are on the East Coast. So our travel, our primetime game allotment is part of the stress of an NFL season. So I thought we did a pretty good job of it last year, but I think we can do a better job this year. And how you schedule your team I think is so important, and that's why we spend so much time in what we put into it, and have some really good resources. Dan's a good resource because Dan Quinn, he's done it too, and being over there in Atlanta, and so when you're in the middle of the country. It's definitely it's less of a burden. So those are the kind of things that I look at, and the staff is no different. They need to take time off. We'll work through Wednesday, but it's important for our coaching staff, support staff, to get away Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So and then we'll kick it off on the 7th there, Monday the 7th, and we'll really frankly spend the majority of the day on self scout. We'll do our across the hall operation, which our players really enjoy, and we'll obviously get into the Green Bay profiles and start that process. But this week is for everybody. It's just not for the players.
How did Hankins play, and how would you assist to run defense? I know they got a lot of yards. Yeah. Is that a byproduct of their offense because they was running the ball down 20?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I thought they did a really good job schematically. I thought they put us in some really stressed plays. And frankly, we were on the field, a lot, and particularly their ability to convert those third down runs. So, but I thought Hank played well. I mean, he played more than we projected. So he's obviously in good shape and stays squares. He graded out very well, and he's everything we thought he was.
Is there still a concern about the run defense?
You're always concerned about it because that's the point of attack. I mean, I know I've said it in here over and over again. I tell the team a lot. If I was competing against our defense, if I was putting a game plan together, I would try to stress every C gap potential that you possibly can. And and Justin Fields he's a weapon. Obviously, I felt like we gave him plenty of respect and recognition throughout the week, but obviously we didn't hit the target.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. You mentioned the prime time stress, and you thought you did pretty well last year. Could be a little better. How could that be a little better? How do you improve?
Well, just frankly, just time efficiency. You have to. I've always had a standard schedule and a winter schedule, and there's been different times in my career I've had an intermediate schedule. We'll definitely have an intermediate and a winter schedule. Our winter schedule won't kick into Indianapolis week, but just how we operate. This next stretch, because obviously we have 2 7-game windows, but then we have the Thanksgiving game. So, and how you handle that transition into the winter schedule. But just being smart with the guys. How we practice. Our ability to have the Saturday practices with a regeneration day on Friday. We push the envelope on Thursdays. So how much more can you push it? Just those types of things.
Trade deadline is tomorrow, and I'm sure players are human. They see their names. Do you talk to certain guys? Do they come up to you when they see stuff like that, or do you just say, what do you do?
I mean, personally, if we feel there's ever anything that we need to feel like we need to get in front of a player, we obviously speak to them. Whether it's the assistant coach or the coordinator or myself, or even the personnel department. And the thing about this time of year, every personnel department in the league is talking to every other personnel department in the league. So there's a lot of chatter that goes on. I don't know why people feel like they need to comment on what's going on with other teams because, frankly, that when it falls on your lap or crosses your dinner table, obviously you don't appreciate it. Conversations are part of the business. So, what really happens is really for the news to come, if it does come. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I was faking that, but so I think I just think the process is, it's tough. No one wants to hear their name, out there where it doesn't line up with winning, for the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of the subject or topic. So I don't like. I don't like when information is thrown around, especially about our players. It's just, but it's an unfortunate part of the business.
Mike, with Barr's injury situation and Clark's inexperience, what's the impact on your usage with Micah? Do you have to start thinking about using him more often at linebacker than you would want to?
Yeah, definitely. Dan and I had some of that conversation today, and we're really after watching Damone play, and but that's really the beauty of having players with position flex. So Damone gives us some position flex there, and obviously, we got to continue to find ways to keep giving Micah, some one-on-one opportunities. So, yeah, those are definitely things we'll look at moving forward.
With James Washington coming back off the bye, would you anticipate him doing more?
I don't have a final on that. Actually, we did not talk about James, in the earlier conversation. So once Jim gets everything done, we'll go through every guy.
With Turpin, he looked like he was having struggle moving after the game yesterday.
Yeah,
okay?
he obviously took a hard shot, but I think with the bye week, I'm hopeful that he'll be fine.
Is James on schedule or do you have a setback?
I'm sorry?
Is James Washington on schedule or do you have a setback?
No, I think he's on schedule. Fifth metatarsals. They take time.
Mike, I know you've got the bye before you go back to Green Bay, but how are you, in what ways are you a different coach now than when you were head coach?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to answering all those Green Bay questions next week. So I think everybody in here needs to take some time off and enjoy the bye. So.
There you go. Say less.
Sam showed up at The Athletic What did you think of Jalen Tolbert? I think he had 20-some snaps or something like that, but he didn't get any targets. Just where
Yeah.
do you think he's at right now?
I thought he did some good things in the route running. Obviously the run blocking, some of the assignments we put him in there, he hadn't done a lot of. So obviously needs more experience and needs more training there. But I mean, it was great to get JT in there. It's he's a very young guy. And he needs to play. So like I said, I was happy to get him some reps.
All right.
No.
Nope.
Oh.
Brad, hey,
Thank
Brad.
you. Brad Stein, Cowboys Radio. You talked about rumors around the trade deadline of guys on your team being talked about. What's your experience about when you bring someone in, how long it take to acclimate them and have them be as productive as you might want them to be?
I think a lot of it has to do with position. That's been my experience. I think their experience level too. And that's frankly that's all part of the conversation. Obviously you're looking at, at the end of the day you're looking at someone if they can help you win, and then you go into the specifics of it. So I think a lot of it's position based. Okay.
All righty. Now.
All right. Thank you. All right. Enjoy your time off. Gonna miss you guys.